Hi, my name is New Dave. I call myself that because old Dave was a giant drug addict and alcoholic. Originally from San Francisco Bay Area, in my 20s, and up till right around when I turned 30, I had been in bands. Probably had about 2 pretty solid bands up there. I come more from like the punk, new wavy scene. I was never really like a metal guy because I never was a good enough guitar player to be a metal guy. Mainly play rhythm, songwriter, singer. So when I moved down to LA in 1989, I rented a house from a guy in Studio City. The first thing I did was call my coke dealer in San Francisco to mail me some coke. So that kind of tells you where my priorities were at. So, moving through the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, here comes Nirvana, and yes, I did witness the sort of death of that crazy Sunset Strip life. The guys passing out the flyers. At the end of the night, literally the sidewalk would just be littered. You couldn't even see the concrete of the sidewalk because there'd just be like flyers everywhere. So I lived through that era. Had a kind of a punk rock band first. Then I had a rock and Espanol band because I also speak Spanish. I went to school in Spain and worked in Guatemala, so I had pretty good success with that. That band was called Sancho. And then my third and pretty much final band that I had in LA was called Nibiru, which is kind of the name in legends of a 10th planet. So it's sort of like a sci-fi rock and roll band, and it was like a costume band. And I had this sparkly jumpsuit that I painted myself, and the lead guitarist was dressed like a general, and our female bass player was dressed like a man in black, the tie and the suit, and the drummer also had his own spacesuit. So I wrote all these crazy songs, sci-fi oriented, but rock and roll type songs, and we had a pretty good act, it was kind of this costume band. It's fun to look at. We rocked pretty hard, and we played all over the place. There's a lot more live music in LA. Just even 10 years ago, I don't think people really realized that this town is really great for live music, and it's kind of a dying art form now. So we eventually got into the Cat Club, which was opened up on Sunset Strip by Slim Jim Phantom of the Stray Cats. It's a pretty famous place, not quite as famous as the Roxy or the Whiskey, but it did kind of have that kind of third place, like there'd be a lot of crazy band, people showing up after, for after parties, and after they played a mega concert, they'd come to the Cat Club and play at like 2 a.m, and so a pretty famous little tiny stage. I mean, the whole club was maybe twice as big as this room we're in, and there's this upstairs sort of green room area. So we got in there a couple of times where they actually started to like us, and we kind of were set to be the house band. I mean, like get a residency or whatever, like play there for 1 night a week for a month. So we were sort of had this momentum going. So it was a good night, getting pretty drunk, and probably did some coke. I don't really remember, but on the night in question, we played. Everything was great. Getting, I guess, free drinks from the bartenders at this point. So me and the female bass player, who's pretty cute, rock and roll chick, So we decided to go upstairs to the green room because we're in the band and we can do that. So we get up there, and it's empty, and there's a table, and there's like this giant stack of pizzas on the table. And we're like, oh, that's kind of weird, nobody in there. And then we mosey in there, and there's also a cake, like a big birthday cake. And we're like, we drunkenly sort of stumble over and like look at the cake, and it says, "Happy birthday Slash," with like, the cake maker did like a Les Paul little guitar, It's like, wow, cool, Slash's birthday cake, So we're kind of standing there wondering what to do, and we're like, you know, it's after the show, we're both kind of drunk, and we're like, fuck it, let's eat some pizza, because it's, you know, it's Slash's pizza, and it's pretty rock and roll to steal anything, especially Slash's birthday pizza. So we both like taking, it's not like we stole a whole pizza or anything, but you know, we each took a, you know, piece of pizza, started eating the pizza. As we're eating the pizza, this guy that looked pretty much exactly like John Turturro, the actor, you know, that kind of big, he walks in, he goes, "What the fuck you doing?" And he walks over and he smacks the pizza out of Timmy's hand, because he didn't smack it out of my hand, because I'm a guy, I probably would have punched him in the face, but he took advantage of the girl. So we're like, I don't know, sorry, you know. We're just, you know, you have like 10 pizzas here. I didn't think you really missed 2 pieces of pizza, dude. Just chill out. He was like really ballistic, you know, and we started to kind of calm him down, and we're kind of trying to make a graceful exit. And then this other guy comes in, the shaved head, like more like the enforcer type guy. Like this guy was sort of like, I don't know what his responsibility was, but this guy obviously is sort of like, you know, he's gonna knock some heads together. So, didn't break, there was no vodka bottles broken over heads or anything, but I did, and Tammy, of course, you know, she escaped, and because, you know, she just ran out of there, but I was sort of like being blocked by these 2 dudes, and I was kind of drunk, and quite frankly, I wouldn't have minded getting in a fight, but I also didn't want to just end the night in the hospital, so I just started talking to these guys. I said, "Look, man, hey, sorry, I'm a big fan, let me just pay for the pizza," and they wouldn't have it. You know, they were just waiting for me to swing, you know, and I wasn't going to swing first. You know, if they wanted to swing first, fine, you know, because I would have just basically tackled them and we would have gone down the staircase. Anyway, but I started to talk to them, and it sort of became like a cat and mouse game. Like this guy, obviously, like, when you meet certain people, you just know that they like beating people up. This guy, this was gonna make his night. And I wasn't gonna give him that satisfaction. The other guy didn't really care about it. He was harmless, basically. So it became I started to get off on, you know, trying to get this guy to not beat me up. So I said, "Look, man, let me buy you a beer." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy you a beer." But I did like kung fu mind fuck this guy down the stairs, and for like the next half hour, I just let him berate, you know, not berate me, but like, it was fascinating to see this guy, and you know, these 2 guys that were so incredibly dedicated to Slash, you know, like they were so offended that I had, you know, broken the seal on the holy birthday pizza, you know, and it was a fascinating moment. And again, being pretty drunk at the time made it even more fascinating. And eventually, you know, I had to get through a couple rounds of beers with these guys, but eventually I sort of snaked my way out of there. Didn't really feel safe the whole night. Here I am in my sparkly spacesuit. And I kind of had to sneak back in later to get my guitar and stuff, because, you know, when you finish the set, there's not really, you just kind of just cram it over by the stage. There's not like a backstage area at the Cat Club. So that's how I wound up almost getting stomped for eating Slash's birthday pizza. That's life on Sunset Strip, and only one of many stories that I'll tell tonight. All right, thanks you guys.
Thank you.